Howdy y'all, welcome back to Rat's Nest Hot Rods. In this episode or video, we will be straightening out that crease bend that was put in this Cadillac back in the day. Not sure how it happened, but there was some damage. You couldn't really see it because it was under the trim, wing trim, bumper, brake light assembly deals. There's Buckus, he's ready to rock and roll. And there's the other side. You can see how it's supposed to look, and we're going to attempt to do that on the other side and fix that damage in this video. We're not going to attempt it, I should say. We attempted it and we were successful. So yeah, what can I say? We're going to strip this down. We're going to mark the crease there, and then we're going to start working to pull this thing out. You're going to see a whole lot of different tools implemented, not necessarily the ones you would think, I would assume. Some interesting hammering and dollying, gigantic dent puller, and we'll get it straightened out by the end, re-weld everything up. So let me speed this up, and when something more interesting pops up, I'll jump back in. Alright, so you've seen the grind down, the drilling out the spot welds, and getting the metal cleaned up, as well as marking where that crease is. So what I'm doing here is putting some outward force on the that fender with a flat screwdriver, and then hitting right on the point where the fender was creased. So you're going to see a whole bunch of different hammer and dolly, I don't know if I want to call them techniques. It's just what I could do to get into this spot. There's 3 different pieces of metal that come together here, and it's a little bit tricky to get in the right spot. Trick for me on this stuff, as well as everything, and I'll say it a million times, patience and kind of working with that metal a little bit at a time. You certainly don't want to stretch it out too much. So little hits, check it with the straight edge, which I'll do several times. And yeah, the funny thing about these things, or maybe not the funny thing, but you can see inside that rear pocket there. That's why all these old cars rotted out back there. Just everything can sit in there. If you get a hole in your wheel well, or if you've got stuff working its way down from the trunk lid down in there, it's just going to sit in there and rot away. This is dirty, sandy, dusty, not a whole lot of mud, so thank the good Lord for that. Yeah, and there's still a lot of blast material from when I was doing the blasting in there, so this is one way to get it out of there, I suppose. Let me speed it back up, and I'll keep yanking on this thing and come back when we get into probably the slide hammer comes out. Alright, here's that big slide hammer, dent puller, axle puller, all in one package. I picked it up off Amazon. I'll put a link for it down in the under the description. So I did what I could to get the crease out. Now the whole back, 6 inches or so of that rear quarter needs to come out a little bit. So we're going to influence it in the only way I know how. This thing was great. I can stick that claw back in there and do the pulling that I need to, and then also pull that interior piece of metal back into place. Rather than going straight at it with a hammer, you can kind of pull things into place and work the metal. Alright, let's speed it back up, and yeah, not much more to say. Move the metal, be patient.
The riches have been
just in case you didn't catch it, yeah, this is the normal hammer and dolly method here to get that inside flange. But I was using the some of the portions from that dent puller to go in and act as a dolly. If I'd had a dinging spoon, I would have used that, but it worked just as well. Just prior there, if you need to back up. I was using the hooks and the flat pieces from that slide hammer to go inside between the two panels so that I can knock those into place and have something to hit against. Alright, let's burn some epoxy primer and feather fill, shall we? I need to redo the spot weld, so we're going to jump in here and put 4 or 5 in, and then we've also got to jump down to the bottom of that quarter and weld that bottom flange piece into the interior structure of the Cadillac. So no need to keep this in regular time. I'll speed it up and join you in a minute. Alright, y'all, we got this one wrapped up. Secret to success: take your time. Use something as a straight edge. I just use a 36-inch metal ruler, aluminum ruler, and it works really good. And yeah, take your time. Do a little welding. Preferably do this before you put epoxy primer and feather fill on, but you know how it is. And we'll tease this next video out here. We did the 3 coats of feather fill. Now I'm going to go around the car and DA the known low spots and put some extra body filler in there. I do want to thank everybody for watching and liking and commenting. The subscriptions are moving up daily, which is awesome. And I do need to give that shout out to Anthony Brennan, which I teased in the title. He said I wasn't using my Piece and Grease Sucker with enthusiasm, and he's right. Anthony, peace and grease, sucker!